Here we have the Dell G15 and the Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming 3. Now both are gaming computers, gaming laptops specifically, for under 1,100 bucks, and they both even kind of look the same with very similar form factors, but there are some key differences between these two machines that you as the purchaser might be interested in. Nevertheless, while we will do more in-depth reviews on both of these computers, we just thought we would go over some quick differences between the two to see if one of them might be better for you than the other. Now, even though these are branded as, for example, this is the Dell G5 and this is the IdeaPad gaming computer, they both still fall more or less under each manufacturer's respective premium gaming category. For example, the Dell G5 is more or less a off-branded Alienware. Effectively, you get all of the Alienware software, but without all of the crazy aesthetics that come with Alienware. And it's the same with the Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming 3. Basically, this is a Lenovo Legion computer, but it just doesn't have all of the RGB bells and whistles and stuff like that. But it still comes with a lot of the Legion software, which is pretty nice. Basically, gamers that are looking for software that will aid in the updates, the maintenance, and the video recording of their games, both of these machines are equipped to do that with no problem. And in fact, if you are not crazy about RGB, then that is something that's really nice about these two machines, is they're not quite as ostentatious. Now, that said, there is a pretty stark difference between the two of these in terms of design. The Dell has this sort of nice light gray kind of speckled aesthetic with orange keys, and by the way, the WASD keys are highlighted, and then you've kind of this dark gray back on it. Now, it does look a little bit more gaming oriented than Lenovo does. I actually think it is a better looking computer, but of course that is subjective to taste, whereas the Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming is just basically Lenovo's standard dark gray laptop. It looks more or less like the IdeaPad, but just of course it's a little bit bulkier and a little bit more capable. But ultimately, if you are somebody that's like a business person that likes to do some casual gaming and you don't want your coworkers to know you've got a gaming laptop, then you're probably going to want to go with the Lenovo. But if you're somebody that doesn't mind something with a little bit of flair, then the Dell is going to be for you. The LCD screens on both of these are 15.6 inches. They are both 144 hertz, and they are IPS displays, so they've got some very good viewing angles. We found that the color on the Lenovo screen is a little bit more accurate. However, the Dell panel is a little bit brighter. Ultimately, between the two, I think I like the Dell panel slightly more, but I'm not really sure why. It's kind of a weird user preference, but again, mileage may vary on that. But that said, there is one stark difference in terms of quality, and that is that the plastics on the Dell do ultimately seem a little bit higher grade, and for that matter, the hinge on the display is a little bit less wobbly. The Lenovo hinges just kind of seem slightly looser, and if you're gaming in a convention or something like that, or basically where there's a lot of foot traffic, LAN parties, you might notice that as people are kind of stomping around you, that the screen might shake a little bit, and that might get annoying. So that is something to consider when buying both of these computers. The Lenovo has a slightly bigger trackpad on it. However, the Dell has a slightly better keyboard. It's just slightly more firm with a bit of better tactile response. And in terms of gaming, you probably will have a mouse attached to one of these things anyway. So the trackpad on both of these is kind of moot, but nevertheless, you do get a slightly bigger trackpad on the Lenovo. As far as I/O is concerned on both of these machines, they are almost identical. They both have USB-C 3.2 generation 1. They both have HDMI 2.0, a bunch of USB Super Speed Type A ports. However, the Dell does have one extra USB Super Speed Type A port. So that's kind of nice if you're somebody that has a lot of USB stuff. You're gonna like the Dell does have one more additional Type A port on it. And as far as size and weight is concerned, the Dell clocks in at about 5.4 pounds, whereas the Lenovo IdeaPad clocks in at about 5 pounds. The Dell is also 0.02 inches thicker than the Lenovo. Now, practically speaking, you will not notice the size or weight difference on either of these machines. Neither of them are really meant for traveling. They're meant to just kind of sit on your desk and game with, but nevertheless, that is something at least worth pointing out. If you absolutely need to crunch numbers in terms of size and weight, the Lenovo is just ever so slightly smaller. Another noticeable difference is that the webcam on the IdeaPad has a little privacy shutter at the top. The Dell does not. That's not really a deal breaker for a lot of people because of course you can just put a little sticky thing over the Dell if that is something that you are concerned about. And then lastly, if you are looking for gaming out of the box, ultimately the Lenovo is going to be the winner here. All Dell computers really need to be updated when you buy them. That includes drivers and BIOS. That is something free to do. It's also very easy to do, and we have a tutorial video on our channel on how to do that. But that said, if you're like basically like buying a computer and you absolutely can't connect it to the internet and can't get those updates or anything like that, the Lenovo 2 is going to be slightly better equipped and modernized out of the box. The Dell is just putting old BIOS images on all of their computers, and they absolutely have to have the latest BIOS in order to reduce things like fan noise, battery usage, CPU usage, and stuff like that. So you really do need to make sure your Dell can get connected to the internet so it can get all of its updates. Now, that said, there will be a clear winner between both of these machines. Once we do the in-depth reviews on it, we will of course do benchmarks as well. But ultimately, we hope that this little quick video was helpful to you in maybe deciding preliminarily which computer might be for you. Gun to my head, if I had to have either or, I'd probably go with the Dell, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with the Lenovo. Anyway, please stay tuned for the more in-depth videos. Please like and subscribe, and we will be back with another video soon.